Hello, Norman. This is Tom Hackelman with Norman Living's video podcast. I'm really excited to be standing outside of Annie's Ruff House today, and I have two great individuals that I want to introduce you to. Probably you all know them already because of their community involvement, but we've got Sereta Wilson and Kate Bierman, and they're going to tell us a little bit about Annie's Ruff House. So, Sereta, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, we've been in business for 10 years. Annie's Ruff House started when my dog, Annie, the Labrador, got out of our yard and went wandering, and the fence was down, and long story short, we ended up needing a place for her to stay for the day, her and her buddy, Kong, and there was no doggy daycares in the city of Norman, and so I quit my job and started, that was January, we were open in May, so 2009, and so this is our 10th calendar year of doing this, and we basically offer dog boarding, doggy daycare, and we started a second location of Annie's Indoor Dog Park here at 1900 Industrial Boulevard that Kate Bierman is going to be the boss of.
And we started Annie's Indoor Dog Park after both of us spending a lot of time involved in Norman Animal Rescue and with the Norman Animal Shelter. We have one community dog park here in Norman, and as you can tell, on days like this, when it's cold or when it's raining or when it's too hot or too windy, all the weather that Norman brings us, sometimes isn't all that much fun to be at the outdoor dog park. And on top of that, you want to make sure that your dog is around other dogs that are well socialized. And so when Annie's Ruff House was teeming at the gills with dogs and just couldn't take any more for daycare or boarding, we started looking for a location that would be able to provide all three services, and that's how we landed here at 1900 Industrial Boulevard. In addition to the indoor dog park, we also have self-service bath bays, which is something that Norman desperately needed, and also have a training room that we've been holding training classes in for the last month. So it's been kind of a whirlwind. Oh, it's been almost 2 months now.
2 months.
It's been a whirlwind ride for the last 2 months, but we've seen that there has still been a need for increased services here in Norman, and it's continuing the history of industry disruption that Sereta started when she realized there were no doggy daycares in Norman. We're the first indoor dog park in Norman and the first in Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
Well, you've really wrapped it all up. You did a phenomenal job of telling us everything that there is to know about the indoor dog park. I think the beauty of it is just, like you said, the indoor aspect of it. You talked about people being able to bring their dogs, especially as winter's approaching, bring their dogs, help them socialize and learn how to play with their pets. What are some of the things that specifically that dog owners, pet owners can learn out of that by being in this kind of experience?
Well, having a facility like ours that has staff that are well trained in dog behavior means that owners will get a sense of how their dog interacts. Not every interaction with your dog with another dog is overt. There are some overt behaviors that everyone can easily identify, and then there are behaviors that are not so overt. So being in a setting where we have trained staff to be able to intervene before an altercation occurs also means that our staff can then help educate owners on what their dog is saying with their body language. That's not something that dog owners inherently know. Barking, growling, humping, those are all behaviors that owners can easily identify.
Right.
But there are kind of unconscious behaviors that your dog projects to other dogs that are not so overt, that are much more subtle. Putting their head over another dog's neck or shoulders, standing eye to eye, very still, not moving. These are all behaviors that are telling the other dog something, and so having staff there that knows what they're doing can really help educate owners on what those behaviors are.
And hopefully they will be able to use that in other dog park settings as well. Mm-hmm. And we'll offer training classes. We hope to add more training classes, some nutrition classes, some CPR, dog CPR, maybe a how to be at the dog park workshop, and some spot training, what I'm calling spot training for with weird behaviors, like my dog's always upset with the mailman or whatever, things like that. And we'll be working with area trainers. One of the things that we identified as having been in the industry for 10 years and in Norman for all this time is that local trainers don't really have a facility. So we're renting out the space to local trainers so that they can come in and conduct a class, and we're vetting those trainers for positive reinforcement training only. But that gives them an opportunity. They don't have to go buy a whole building or lease a whole building for their 1 or 2 classes, and the cost share is there for them with other trainers and with us.
Yeah.
So we have kind of the core service that will keep the ship afloat, so to speak, and then we can add all these other just quality of life services to Norman residents.
Well, I think that's cool because it's not just for the general public, it's also for, like you said, for other trainers to come in.
Other people in the industry.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, you're providing a kind of a multi-layered approach there to help the whole pet community.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we both recognized as we've done this work, so I'll back up to 10 years ago, one of my first clients was a dog without a person. She was a little stray dog that showed up on our doorstep, and I called the shelter, and that's when I really kind of understood the problems at our shelter, and all municipal shelters really. And so throughout this 10 years of doing this, I've realized that one of the problems is people get frustrated with their dog, or they don't have a way to exercise their dog, or they don't have access to good training, and so a lot of times they'll be given up. Good people will give up good dogs just because they don't understand each other.
Right.
And so I've thought all along that Annie's 1 and Annie's 2, it's kind of what we end up coining the phrases of, that it's helps keep dogs in their home. And a lot of times we'll identify needs in the community, like we have a pet food pantry. We also have a 501c3 that we place over 400 dogs and 450 dogs in their homes. We'll give sometimes free daycare or free boarding to area rescues like that for the dog. So we'd like to be a really good community partner to ultimately solve the problems of the shelters.
This is kind of a cumulative product of all of the needs that we've seen in the community, over the last 10 years. Like Sereta said, there are, from pet food to dogs that are overactive and just need an outlet for the energy, to dogs that have some behavioral needs that need addressing. All of those things we've addressed between the 2 facilities, and being able to find a space this large that gives us the ability to do all of these things in one building was a real find, and we're really lucky to be able to provide this to the community and address some of those needs.
Well, it's really great. I know that it has been a conversation in Norman for a number of years about the challenges related to pets in general, but dogs in the community, and just drop-off spots, and people just abandoning their pets. And like you said, a lot of times it's just because they're not sure exactly how to care for their pet.
Absolutely.
And don't have the resources by which to manage that pet effectively and all of that. And, it's a family member.
Absolutely.
And so that's a loss for a family to have to give up their pet. So this is a way for you to help essentially keep families together.
Keep families together, absolutely. We also have self-serve bath bays here too. So if the muddy, dirty dog is the problem, then you come on in here and spend $10 and get our place muddy and dirty while your dog gets clean when you go home clean.
And we also offer if you've rescued a dog in the last 3 months, you bring in your adoption paperwork and your veterinary and your vaccination records, we'll give you your first bath for free. Sure. Kind of wash the smell of the shelter off. Not that the shelter smells, but dogs that are in that kind of environment for a while.
Exactly.
They're not. The shelter staff is so busy as it is. Being able to bathe the dog is something that doesn't happen very often. So being able to provide something like that and get some of those shelter dogs in here for the first time to show their owners that there are resources available, we wanted the ability to do that.
Well, you guys are providing. Did you have something else?
I was going to say, we've handled about 20,000 dogs a year.
Wow.
And Amy's 1. And so last 3 years we've turned away about between 7,000 and 10,000 dogs we couldn't take for space. So now we have this also for boarding. So one of the things that there was a problem in our community is that we didn't have enough beds for the heads. Like you would do with a hotel, you didn't have enough hotels, you'd want it.
Right.
So.
And we still find that that's the case. I mean, we filled up completely both facilities for OU Texas weekend. they're dog owners. There are a lot of dog owners in this community, and they need those boarding services, for all the major holidays and then just throughout the year. So there really was an unfilled need, even just in the boarding world. So we were glad to be able to open this facility, and we still have some kennels we're trying to fix and make sure that they can open to provide a few more beds for those heads. And so we see this need as Norman grows. This is only going to continue to be a need in this community.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are both providing a phenomenal service for Norman. That's it. And I know the citizens of Norman really appreciate what you guys are doing, because, as I said, it's been a conversation. I'll put it that way. It's been a conversation in Norman for a number of years. People are looking for some solutions. You all have definitely provided a unique solution, which is really great.
Well, one of the reasons why we wanted to keep the cost of the indoor dog park low is to make it accessible to people who might not have the means to be able to pay for a full day of daycare.
Right.
But for only $5, they can come and play with their dog any number of times throughout the day.
Right.
It's not a per visit fee, and that was another really important factor, was making it so that the one small fee you pay for the day gets you access all day. You can come in the morning before you go to work. You can come after work, and really get your dog as much exercise as they can handle in any given day.
On a day like today, that's a great thing.
Right, exactly.
And it's not as cold as it's going to get.
Right, it's only going to get colder from here.
Right?
We had a lot of rain, so
All the rain, and then the wind chills today and everything. So it's a great environment to be able to help your dogs get the exercise without having to worry about the conditions that they're in.
Right, or the conditions that you're in, because as I've found with my own dogs,
Right.
that's really the overriding factors. My dogs will happily go outside in 30 or 35 degree weather,
Right.
but having to stand and play with them for an hour or two a day is just it gets harder and harder as the winter moves on. So
Very true.
I even personally was looking forward to having a place to bring my dogs to play in the dead of the winter. So
Well, I really appreciate your time, Kate and Sereta. For those of you that are interested in wanting to learn more, again, it's Annie's Ruff House. This particular location is at 1900 Industrial Boulevard here in Norman. So check them out. I'll post the links to their Facebook page and website and everything on the Facebook page with this. So if you want to check out more information about it, or give them a call, learn more about the services that they provide and all the unique resources that they've provided to the community that you don't want to miss out on. So, Sereta, Kate, thank you so much.
thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right. Norman, until next time, have a great day and an amazing week.